Hello and welcome to Baby Roo TV, a series full of important information, exciting insights and lots of fun activities and ideas to help your baby's brain and body development. Our Baby Roo information bit today is on baby primitive reflexes. Chances are you'd be familiar with some of the survival reflexes babies are born with. However, you may not be aware of how important primitive reflexes are to your baby's future learning and coordination. We're delighted once again to have with us our regular child development practitioner, Dr. Jane Williams. She's a senior lecturer and, amongst other things, an expert and consultant on primitive reflexes. Thank you, Dr. Jane, for joining us today.
It's lovely to be here, Bindi.
Let's start looking into this interesting and important baby development topic with Baby Roo's bit more on baby reflexes. Welcome to Baby Roo's bit more on baby reflexes. In this program, we'll look at what primitive reflexes are, why it's important for parents to know about them, and how they can affect your baby's development. Babies are all born with a specific set of primitive reflexes. These reflexes are vital to the survival of our newborn babies. It's because of these reflexes that your baby's heart beats, that they breathe, feed, swallow, suck and excrete. Also, and importantly, primitive reflexes are responsible for getting your baby moving. Primitive reflexes are also of major importance to your baby's brain development and the development of their balance, muscle tone, head control, vision, and even the development of how well they use their hands and feet.
Primitive reflexes are vitally important to development. What is important for parents to know is that these early movement reflexes are designed to have a limited lifespan. That is, they help babies learn how to move. However, to be able to move freely and easily, babies need to learn to gain control of these reflexes. Once controlled, your baby can then move smoothly to the next level of movement and brain development. If babies and young children don't have the opportunity and practice to learn to fully control the reflexes, the retained reflexes can interfere with later development. These children could end up being partly stuck in a lower stage of brain development, and this will affect, to some degree, all their future learning. A large proportion of healthy, intelligent children who end up with learning difficulties at school have retained reflexes. These children have not yet managed to bring the primitive reflexes under control.
Fortunately, the way babies learn to control these primitive reflexes occurs as a result of going through the normal, natural sequence of developmental movements. That is, through tummy time, head control, learning how to roll, crawl on their tummies, creep on their hands and knees, climb and then walk. Each movement helps your baby learn to control one or more of the primitive reflexes. If babies skip any of these movement stages, they could be at risk of retaining primitive reflexes and at risk of learning difficulties. Most primitive reflexes occur as a result of head movement. There's a primitive reflex that causes newborn babies to wriggle and squirm forwards when lying on their tummies, and another that gets your baby rolling over. There are primitive reflexes in the hands and feet. A primitive reflex is responsible for getting your baby into the creeping position on their hands and knees and the standing position holding on. Each reflex has a role to play and then must be fully controlled for smooth further development, movement and learning. With control over the primitive reflexes, babies and young children develop what are called postural reflexes. So for now, provide lots of tummy time. You'll remember that most of the reflexes have to do with head position. This is why your baby's ability to lift and hold their head steady and turn from side to side with control is so important to development. With increasing head control, the primitive reflexes lose their influence. Your baby will also learn to control the reflexes by doing any activities that stimulate the use of the reflexes and that normal, natural sequence of developmental movements. It's not how fast a baby learns to walk, but what they learn before they walk that will affect the development of their intelligence and coordination. So many of the activities found throughout the Baby Roo series and at your local Baby Roo centre involve working with and helping your baby to control these reflexes, including finger and foot plays, baby massage, baby exercises, vestibular activities, dancing with your baby, and so much more. Dr. Jane is a retained reflex therapist. She's worked with many children who have not fully controlled reflexes. We look forward to rejoining her at the end of today's program to discuss these primitive reflexes in a little more detail. Coming up after the break, all the fun of today's Let's Do Baby Roo session. Welcome to Let's Do Baby Roo. Throughout this series, you've learnt the great value and enormous fun of movement in your baby's lives. By playing with your babies in this way, you've helped them form so many more neural connections and pathways and helped their brain to grow. How wonderful. It's exercise time. By now, you and your baby will be loving your daily exercise sessions. Babies crave activities that are developmentally good for them. We're doing our exercises with your babies on their tummies again today. Take one arm and walk it forward and back.
I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, 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 where the brass bands play tiddly pom, pom, pom.
And the other side.
Just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of fun outside. I should like to be beside
one arm forward and back.
beside the sea. Oh, it's so far to get down to the ocean. With surf up, it's running really high.
Now the other.
It's boards in and see us paddle out, out, out. If we catch a wave, you'll hear us shout, shout, shout.
One at a time.
So summer and surfing go together. Summer's a surfing time for me. And there's lots of friends of mine who go surfing.
Stroke all the way down.
Having a super. Come surf with me.
And bend the legs out to the side, one after the other.
To be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, 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 where the brass
Cross them over each other.
tiddly pom, pom, pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside myself with glee.
Bend both legs up towards the bottom and back.
I like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea.
Take each heel to the opposite buttock. Great work. Give your little ones a big cuddle. This fabulous exercise is terrific for muscle development of your baby's whole body, for their vision and for their balance development. Place your babies on their tummies across your legs and hold securely under their arms and upper body. As the song goes on, lift your babies and place them down facing the other way. Place a toy on each side to help with the development of visual skills.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick.
You may be finding that your babies are choosing to spend more and more of their waking hours on their tummies. If not, just continue with short periods of tummy time often while they build up their strength. Every bit of happy tummy time helps with their muscle development, head control, balance, postural development, and control over their body movements. Look how much babies love this. You could do the same at home with an old sheet and some friends. Let's dance. Dance helps develop your baby's sense of space, time, flow, and rhythm. This circle dance is great fun and involves the rhythms of walking, running, galloping, and jumping. There are also some of those much-loved swishes into the middle. Hold your baby facing away from you with one hand through their legs and the other across their chest. With this hold, you can easily move from swishing back to the facing out position. We'll start with bobbing up and down to the beat of the music.
There's a beat that I'm keeping.
Bobbing
It's
up
come
and
from
down.
My feet. My feet
Swish
can
into
do
the middle.
all sorts of things. There's a beat that I'm keeping. It's come from my feet. That beat from my feet makes me sing. This beat is walking.
Now walking.
This is a
And running.
beat. This beat
Give
is
galloping a go. And a
This is
careful jump or half jump.
This is a jump, jump. This is a jump, jump.
Let's do that all again.
There's a beat that I'm keeping. It's come from my feet. My feet can do all sorts of things. There's a beat that I'm keeping. It's come from my feet. That beat from my feet makes me sing. This beat is walking. This is a running beat. This beat is galloping. This is a jump, jump. This is a jump, jump. This is a jump, jump.
Bend your knees, notch your back, and place your babies gently down for a rhythm and music activity. Remember, music and rhythm have a major positive influence on our lives, and they're superbly beneficial for your baby's growth and development. Find some shakers or maracas and offer them to your baby. Let's do some rhythmic movements to the song Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald
Shake the maracas.
E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a cow. E-I-E-I-O. With a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Gently tap the maracas together.
Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a sheep. E-I-E-I-O. With a ba-ba here and a ba-ba there. Here a ba, there a ba, everywhere a ba-ba. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Let your babies have a turn while you tap the rhythm into their body.
E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig. E-I-E-I-O. With a oink oink here and a oink oink there. Here a oink, there a oink, everywhere a oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Well, we've reached the end of another Baby-Roo session. Massage helps babies learn about themselves. It helps them develop a body map or body awareness, a crucially important building block for later learning. Babies love these two next massage rhymes, one for the tummy and one for the back. Start with your baby on their backs and crawl your fingers up their bodies for Incy Wincy Spider. Creep your fingers up your baby's body. Do a long stroke down and across, and a lovely long stroke over the head and down. Now creep your fingers back up again.
Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again. Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed poor Incy out. Up came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. So Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again.
Place your babies on their tummies for the next rhyme called I Know a Little Pussy. Starting down at the feet, use your thumbs to make those fairly firm, small circles all the way up.
She lives down in the meadow, not very far away. Although she
On either side of the spine,
she'll never be a cat, for she's a pussy willow. Now what do you
stroke
think
up
of that?
over your baby's head,
Meow, meow, meow,
and a
meow,
lovely
meow,
long,
meow,
firm
meow,
stroke all the way down, ready to begin again.
Pussy, her coat is silver grey. She lives down in the meadow, not very far away. Although she is a pussy, she'll never be a cat, for she's a pussy willow. Now what do you think of that? Meow, 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 meow. Scat.
Coming up, it's time to learn more about baby reflexes with Dr. Jane.
Goodbye, goodbye. See you all next week. May peace be with you too.
Well, we hope you loved doing Baby Roo with your babies today. Babies love a familiar routine, so try and do a little Baby Roo each day. Back to the subject of reflexes. Dr. Jane, we heard about how important the primitive reflexes are for promoting movement in babies. Can you give some more specific examples of how they work?
Yes, of course, Bindi. Let's have a look at the tonic labyrinthine reflex.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It sure is. So we call it the TLR.
Much easier.
When babies are born, they have a reflex that when their head goes down to their chin, their arms and their knees bend. So it puts them in a curled position. When they're lying on their backs and their head goes back, then their arms and their legs extend and they straighten out. And this enables our babies and their brains to feel movement automatically. So if you see your little baby, your newborn on their tummy, they'll always usually be curled up in that little ball because their head is down.
And it's a beautiful survival reflex, isn't it? Because it actually allows for a passage of air when babies are on their tummy to go through.
Exactly.
Yes, so survival, but also very important for teaching them the difference between flexion and extension.
Exactly.
Well, I suppose firstly, how do babies learn to control this reflex?
Lots of tummy time is the most important thing for learning to control the TLR. When you're lying on your tummy, you're lifting your head up and down. Initially, it's very hard work for a baby, and one of the reasons is because the reflexes are in control still, but the baby gradually learns muscle strength and control and lifts their head up and down voluntarily, and that helps to override the impact of the TLR.
Terrific. Now, there are problems though if babies don't learn to properly, or if babies and children don't learn to properly control the reflex.
Yes, if they're not able to control that reflex, then they won't be able to move forward on their tummies and creep on their hands and knees. It also means when they're a little bit older that they can have a locked-in extension to their body a little bit in some children, and so they become tiptoe walkers, and it's not as easy for them to gain really smooth, coordinated control of their bodies. So they find sporting activities more challenging. It can also have a little bit of an effect in the classroom because when they put their head down to look at their books, their body wants to collapse underneath them. So it makes learning more difficult because they haven't got the control, that automatic control of their body that they need to be able to concentrate and listen and learn.
And the last thing we want to do is make learning more difficult for our children. So tummy time.
Absolutely.
And now there's another one that has another long and lovely name.
the asymmetric tonic neck reflex that we call the ATNR. It's also called the fencing position, and a newborn baby demonstrates this beautifully, and it lasts for about 4 weeks until the baby, again on their tummy, is able to lift their head up and down and get voluntary control. So the asymmetric tonic neck reflex is called the fencing position because it looks like somebody in épée. So when the head is turned to one side, the arm and leg on that side extend, and then when they turn their head the other way, the other arm extends. And again, it provides free passage of air, which is important for survival, but it's also, again, an early movement reflex that helps our babies feel what their body is like. Because when babies are born, they have no idea they have a body. They don't know what it feels like or how to move it. And these reflexes help them do that reflexly, automatically, until they gain voluntary control.
And to gain control over the ATNR, what do we do?
Again, tummy time.
Tummy time, of
What
course.
would we do without tummy time? We need lots of tummy time. Again, it's a reflex. It comes from the neck area again, and so head control is very important, and we only get that on our tummies. We do not get that from lying on our backs.
So lots of free and lovely tummy time where the head is free to move about to help to integrate and control these reflexes.
Exactly.
So that the children or the babies can move onto smooth coordinated movement.
Exactly, that's right.
Terrific. You'll find more examples of these reflexes and what you can do to help throughout the Baby Roo series. And lastly, Dr. Jane, the product that you suggest that parents borrow, barter for or buy?
Well, again, it's not too hard to know what to do and in this situation. Tummy time, tummy time, tummy time. All you need is a nice mat on the floor, or if you don't like to pop your baby on the floor, lie your baby along your tummy, yourself over your knees, along your arms. Tummy time is the key to the integration of these reflexes and to controlled motor development.
Love that product. Wonderful, cheap and easy. Dr. Jane, it's been terrific to have you come along and help us get a clearer picture of these primitive reflexes. Thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
And thank you for inviting us to join with you and your baby on this exciting and wonderful journey of development. Remember, what happens in the first years of life not only matters, it matters a lot. So the gift you are giving your baby is a great one. From us at Baby Roo, enjoy and be amazed by your baby's development, and we'll see you next time.